So yes guys, these are the 10 mistakes you should avoid as an entrepreneur. Hello guys, how are you guys doing? My name is Chuka Nwachukwu, your investment advisor. Welcome back again. I know it's been a while. I've been busy going on the field trying to pass the message of investment to the young ones. A few weeks ago, I'm sure you must have seen our videos. I was in my alma mater, Madonna University, and then they had this career event where they educate students. The essence of it is to ensure that the students get into the business environment, into the business world before graduation. And so I was invited as a guest speaker to talk about investments, and then of course to tell them about Investment Talk with Chuka. I told them that your certificate can open the door, but your skills will keep you in the room. What do I mean by that? In this Nigerian environment, not even only in Nigeria, in African environment where white collar job is very scarce, about 2 to 3 million graduates every year are looking for just about 500 to 1,000 jobs. So it's your skill that gives you an edge. These days, people no longer go for white collar jobs. The skills you're able to develop while you're in school that gives you an edge. Secondly, I took a trip last week to Rwanda, Kigali. I was one of the awardees for 100 most influential entrepreneurs and young business achievers for 2025. I was also opportune to deliver a paper, The Role of Financial Literacy, Case Study of Africa. And there I expanded on how financial literacy can help development. I gave some instances, and I think that is one of the things that will help you as an entrepreneur. And that brings me to my next topic, which is the mistakes most entrepreneurs make. In extension, the mistake you as an investor make. So yes guys, these are the 10 mistakes you should avoid as an entrepreneur. Number 1, neglecting market research. What does this mean? People have money and they just want to invest. They just want to invest or open a business, start up a business, and without doing a proper market research. So what happens is you might have a good product, but you're in the wrong market. And that is why before you start a business, you must do market strategy. You must scan the environment. You must understand the people. Like I said earlier, you can have the best products, but in a wrong environment, that product won't sell. Take for example, so you set up a world-class boutique in a rural area. Yeah, you've got original products, but in an area where an average income earner can't afford anything less than 20-30K, and an average cost of your product is about 200K. The product is lovely, but you are in the wrong environment. So these are some of the things that you need to look out for. You want to start up a restaurant, for example, you must dissect the environment, look at what is obtainable within the area. Market research is very important. You must understand the environment, you must understand the people, you must understand what is sellable, because the things that works in Port Harcourt don't work in Lagos, even though they are two big cities. So culture is very important, living standard is very important, the class of people very important, the environment very important. These are things that you need to look out for when trying to start up a business, and that is why market research is very, very important. So number 2, underestimating costs. What does it mean to underestimate costs? So you have this big idea, setting up a 5-star hotel, for example, and you want to set up this 5-star hotel in a highbrow area of Lagos. You have similar hotels set up somewhere in Asaba in Delta State. So for example, you had this hotel set up for say about between 500 to 600 million in Asaba, yet you're budgeting between 600 to 700 million in a highbrow area in Lagos. So land alone in that same highbrow area in Lagos is worth over 800 million. So you can see that you're already set to fail from the one. You must be able to understand the cost implication. So as a business person, as a business owner, you must take your costs into consideration. First of all, cost of products, cost of labor, because when you hire someone in Abuja, you obviously will not pay the same labor at the same job function in someone in Kaduna, for example. They are two different environments. So these are the things you need to take into consideration. You have to be sure that you have your costing right. You have to be sure that you factor in your profits, into your costing. And again, one of the mistakes most business owners make is this: by the time you've got the wrong costing, you got your costing wrong, you then start trying to meet up by increasing your services, your products, and then you start losing customers. So it's very important that you get your costing right from day one, so that you know that any business you get involved in, you already know from day one the number of staff you're going to have, the number of profits you're going to make per week, per month. And then most importantly, you also have to take into consideration other factors like tax, and then what are the rules and regulations, because these are also things that causes a lot of your business owners headache when they don't do proper research. The third point is failing to plan. You know what they say? When you fail to plan, you plan to fail. When people don't plan properly, and that is the problem we have in this part of the world. You know, you just wake up, you want to start a white elephant project. There are no thought out process. You just come up with this idea. You don't talk to professionals just because you have money. It is one thing to have money, it's another thing to be strategic in investment. So planning helps you, number one, not to waste money. Number two, not to get into trouble. Number three, to be strategic. Number four, to ensure that you are in the right business. Let me give you an example. So we started up a restaurant in Elelewon in Port Harcourt, and the manager puts a bottle of beer for 4,000. And the first week, the fun fair, people came, had fun, and then we had a crowd for 2-3 days. After that, the crowd dried up. So what was the issue? We started finding out. So we discovered that an average lounge charges about 2,000 to 2,100 for a bottle of beer, and we are charging about 4,000. And so that alone has made us lose the market share we gained. So we had to go back to the drawing board, did a market research again, which we didn't do properly. And so it's a mistake I made, and I don't want you guys to make the same mistake. And so, to cut the long story short, we came back, streamlined our prices, though our price is still about 50 naira to 100 naira higher. However, the lounge we have is a world-class lounge within that area. So people rather come to our lounge, pay extra 50 or extra 100, enjoy the ambience, enjoying the environment. And then within 2-3 weeks, the market share came back and we had more market. So this is just a typical example. It's a personal experience, and I don't want you guys to make the same mistake we made. So it's a typical example of how failing to plan, failing to understand the environment, failing to do your market research. I'm going back to market research because everything we are discussing here has to do with market research. You have to be strategic. Okay, so it is very important that we understand the environment we are going into before we even take the first step. So number 4 is very, very important. And a lot of us make this mistake: not building a strong team. What does it mean? You know, in Igbo language, they have what they call Abobi. Abobi means strong man. There can never be any strong man in business. I'm an advocate of system. Put a proper system in place, and then the business will excel with or without you being around. So the mistake many of us make in this part of the world is the fact that we have strong men, we don't have strong institutions. So you have a situation where a business owner is all and all. No decision is made without that business owner. And that's why a lot of people frown at one-man business, because everything centers around the owner of the business. So there is no structure in place. When the man is not around, nothing happens. And what happens to such businesses? One, it promotes eye service, because when the big man is not around, people are free to do whatever they want to do. Nothing moves. But once he's around, you see people doing things that ordinarily they don't do. That's number 1. Number 2, when you have a one-man business that is not structured, productivity becomes a problem. Investors will not have confidence in it. And so I have always advocated that you must have a system in place. Put a system in place and allow the business to run. As they say, a leader is as good as his team. So you must have a good team in place. Structure enables you to put teams in place. So if you don't have structure, there's no way you're going to have a strong team. Your team must be able to stand independent of the owner. That is what structure is all about. In this part of the world is a big problem. You see it in government, and you know that also affects businesses. Once something happens to the owner of the business, and that's the end, the business crumbles. So for me, I always advocate that you build a strong team. No matter how small the business is, no matter how big the business is, when you have a strong team, you have a system in place, a strong system in place, the business can go run with or without you being around. So please, guys, ensure that you have a strong team. Ensure that you have a system in place. Don't get me wrong, don't get discouraged. I mean, I talked about system in place. I talked about building strategy and building system. It might sound like a white elephant project, but the truth of the matter is, you have friends who are experts in different fields. You can collaborate, you can come together, you can work as a team, you guys can partner, but my point is, no matter how big or how small the business is, try to have a system in place so that even if you're not around, your partner is around, the business can move. I encourage you to partner if you haven't got the finances. Encourage people to join your vision. It's your ability to say your vision that matters. Okay, last but not the least, this is very important, very, very important, and it can make or mar any business, no matter how small, no matter how big, and which is learn to listen to your customers. Customers' feedback is very important, and also your employees. It is very important. And that's why you see many organizations have what they call customer service center, because the feedback from customers is very, very important. So the customer has no emotion, and so whatever feedback you're getting from a customer, it's raw and you must not neglect it. And that is why you see that most businesses in Nigeria fails. You know why? Because once an average business person makes money, rather than reinvest in that same business through customer feedback, through staff feedback, they just carry on as if they're no longer interested or the people are not important anymore. So feedback is very key. Listening to your staff is very, very key. Okay, so guys, I'll be willing to answer your questions if there are any in the comment section. Till we meet again, this is your investment advisor, Chuka Nwachukwu. Bye bye for now.